let's transition now to some noteworthy things that I kind of picked out of the game on Saturday that will kind of apply to this Saturday's game against Iowa State. First of all, as we kind of toss in the Iowa State win over UNI as sort of our pregame buildup here, the matchup of Goodson Hall, and this is certainly not a surprise to anyone, and Saturday's game, the burst we saw from Tyler Goodson on that 56-yard scamper, that is not like that's just breaking news or earth-shattering. We knew Goodson was capable of that, but it was a good reminder to me that the running back matchup this Saturday in Ames is going to be awesome, all right? If you're an Iowa fan, you're an Iowa State fan, let's just enjoy the week because there is going to be an excellent opportunity for both of these running backs to have, I don't want to say Heisman moments, but certainly Doak Walker Award moments this Saturday. These are the types of games where you earn those types of awards. And certainly both guys are fighting for their teams right now, but Hall versus Goodson going to be impressive. Laporte looked great Saturday, and that leads me into another positional matchup this coming Saturday, and that is Charlie Kolar of Iowa State versus Sam Laporte. Now, of course, these guys aren't matching up head-to-head, just like Hall and Goodson aren't matching up head-to-head. But again, what a matchup as far as positions. You've got an elite tight end who's probably a first-team All-American in Charlie Kolar. Of course, he was an All-American last year versus a guy who I think can be a future first- or second-round draft pick in Sam Laporta. Tight end U versus maybe the best tight end in the country in Kolar. And how about this one? The quarterback position going to be fascinating. Now, something to sort of credit Spencer with, this was his first game in front of any crowd on Saturday, and I thought he did, again, not saying he played perfect. The offense still struggled. We'll get to that here at the end as far as my keys moving forward for this team. But Petrus did look comfortable. I thought for the most part he looked comfortable. He didn't look as nervous like he did last year. So Purdy versus Petrus in a rocking Jack Trice Stadium will be fascinating. And how about this matchup? Mike Rose, who is maybe the best linebacker in the country, versus Iowa's linebacking core, which I think is going to go down as one of, if not the best linebacking cores in the Big Ten, and maybe nationally. I mean, I'm telling you, Justin Jacobs, Seth Benson, Jack Campbell, these guys are ridiculous. They're going to all three of them have an excellent shot at being, and again, next level type linebackers. I don't want to toss around that term too loosely, but this linebacking core is really good right now. And I see this being a low-scoring game on Saturday. Again, Iowa State has the ability to hit big plays. We know Iowa does because they hit one on Saturday, right, with Goodson. As far as keys to the game, I want to go back to what we saw Saturday. Spencer Petrus, again, struggled through, I think, some progressions. He really didn't show any ability to hit big plays. But remember the last road game for Iowa. It was Iowa at Illinois late last season, and through the first half, Petrus was terrible. Comes out in the second half and hits some big pass plays. And, of course, he followed that up with some big touchdowns to Amir Smith-Marset in the game against Wisconsin. So, keys to this game this Saturday. Two things, and, of course, this isn't stating the obvious. Big plays, you want to limit big plays for Iowa State. If you're Iowa, can you hit one? Can you hit one or two? Certainly, and I don't mean plays of over 20, 30 yards. I'm talking super explosive plays of 40, 50 yards plus. It's hard to do, but if you can hit one or two on the road, they're crowd silencers and certainly would give a lot of confidence to Spencer Petrus in this offense, even if it is from the running game. And the other thing in this game that I want to watch for specifically is just turnovers. I mean, that's sort of a stating the obvious type of key. But if you look at this game historically, look at the last time these two teams met, the Iowa State player running into his own teammate on a punt return, and that sealed the deal. Turnovers are huge. We know that. Remember the Jaimin Colbert forced fumble on Brock Purdy that game. That was huge. Turnovers always play a big role in games, and as we saw from Iowa's defense, we hope not, but we could foresee a situation where Iowa becomes somewhat reliant on turnovers. You don't want to see that because you want your offense to be able to keep up. But I think turnovers will be huge. And one other thing I didn't mention earlier, and I don't want to forget about this before we log off here. Iowa versus Indiana. Iowa had 2 penalties for 20 yards. If you recall, the opener last season on the road at Purdue for Iowa, 10 penalties for 100 yards. So that's a tremendous development as far as comparing the 2 years. Now, different type of preseason may have something to do with it, but the penalty category will just be huge. Again, it burned them the last time they were on the road, or excuse me, in their last road opener, if you will, against Purdue. You don't want to have the same result against Iowa State. Penalties and turnovers will kill you. So it's going to be a fascinating matchup. ESPN College Game Day will be there this Saturday. There's so much to look forward to. A lot of hype. Iowa is now the number 10 team in the country according to the Associated Press, number 12 according to the coaches poll. Iowa State, they are number 10 according to the coaches poll. I guess I didn't write that down. They're 9 in the AP poll, so it's a top 10 matchup. And probably the best matchup nationally. You do have Oregon, Ohio State. Both those teams kind of struggled at times in their opening week matchups. So I think a lot of the national flavor has now sort of evolved into an Iowa State showdown. So it's going to be a great one. 3:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. Want to remind everybody, if you didn't catch us last week, head over to Iowa at the Voice of College Football for a live postgame. We're going to do live postgames after every Iowa game this season, but we have Don Patterson, a historic coach. Don Patterson, he was the longtime offensive coordinator with Hayden Fry. He will join us each and every week to talk about Iowa's wins or losses. So again, if you haven't already done so, head over to Iowa at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. It's Iowa at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. Subscribe, turn notifications on. That way you can be there. And certainly you have an opportunity to interact with us by chat. You can even call in, and Don will answer your questions, and we can take your comments. So it's going to be a great season. Iowa is 1-0. It's Cyhawk Week. Iowa State this Saturday. And with that being said, we are at the end of our show, so let's give our final predictions for this game. I'm going to make a lot of Iowa fans upset with me. If you heard our season predictions, you'll know why I'm making this pick. The 16-10 win over UNI made no difference. It was a vanilla call game from Iowa State. I am going with, regrettably, the Cyclones. All right? I'm going 21-20. Iowa State wins by 1. I don't want it to happen, but that's my pick. So hopefully I'm wrong, and certainly if you disagree or you agree, let us know in the comments. Iowa State this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Central Time on ABC, and then Iowa postgame at the Voice of College Football. Myself and Don Patterson to break it all down after hopefully Saturday's win for the Hawkeyes.